Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for your time and willingness to listen to our research. My name is Katie Sampson, an incoming senior studying psychology at Texas A&M University, and this presentation is about mental health in the mundane, a content analysis of parent-child mental health themes in Bluey. I would also like to highlight the following individuals who made this research possible, three of which were raters who contributed to the content analysis and coding. And more than that, the support from the Art MEDified team and Ashley Hodge in particular were instrumental throughout this project. So special thanks to these people for all of their contributions. This research really would have not have been possible without them. So with that being said, let's dive in. Children's media has long been a vehicle for social learning, but mental health portrayal in particular, especially subtle depictions of things like stress, emotional regulation, and modeling, tends to be underexamined in preschool programming. While much of former and current children's media, namely cartoons, tends to use a more child-friendly tone, Bluey subverts that idea. If you don't know already, Bluey is an Australian animated series that stands out for its emotionally intelligent storytelling, especially around family dynamics and even between children. The show is often praised for its realistic depictions of these everyday situations, not shying away from heavier topics, especially related to parent and adult mental health. Current research for Bluey is incredibly limited, although effects on tourism, language development, play and culture, and television production have been explored. There is, however, a lack of knowledge regarding the impacts on children and parents alike. So first, determining the depictions of mental health, parenting practices, and self-regulation strategies will ensure that this research is pertinent enough to explore further, and will also provide insights into the key facets that inform viewer perceptions of the show. This study in particular aims to systematically identify and categorize moments related to parental and child mental health in Bluey episodes. So what did we do? 4 publicly available episodes of Bluey were selected that prominently feature parent-child interactions, and these were found all on YouTube. Each was independently coded by 4 total raters using the following rubric. The definitions were included alongside the rubric for greater efficiency so that the raters didn't have to go back and forth. They could just look at it right there. Each category captured a specific aspect of mental health-related content. Emotional expression looked for overt displays of any emotion, while stress and overwhelm identified moments where a character visibly struggled. Regulation strategies included breathing, reframing, or seeking support, and modeling looked at how adults portrayed emotional skills to their children. The full data set included 64 individual codes across 4 episodes and 4 raters, and ratings were collected using Google Docs. The rubric shown before was put into a Google Doc, and raters were meant to relay their responses via said Google Docs. These were analyzed using descriptive statistics in Jamovi, and additional analyses, namely the Kruskal-Wallis H-test, were conducted through Excel. The following graphs illustrate our results. Most episodes scored high in emotional expression and moderate in modeling. The 75% inter-rater agreement supports the rubric's utility in identifying mental health content. Agreement was strongest for emotional expression and weakest for modeling and stress categories, which may be due to their subjectivity. I'll further discuss this in the limitations section as well. The episode Duck Cake had the highest combined score, while Relax had the most variation among raters. First, this bar plot here shows the average scores overall per category and rater. The inter-rater agreement just is a visual demonstration of 75%, as well as this radar plot, which was also created to demonstrate the average ratings per episode. These show how overall the episodes reviewed, not factoring in individual scoring, which is the point of the bar plot that I had before. So these findings suggest that Bluey models emotionally rich parent-child interactions. Future studies could explore how viewers interpret or respond to these scenes, and we could also encourage the development of more rigorous content analysis tools for mental health themes in media. After establishing this foundation, further research should look to explore the impact of Bluey's themes on children and parents alike. Notably, studying changes in emotional learning could inform future children's programming. So changes in the parents, how are they before seeing an episode? How are they after, and how does that affect their children? Or just for children, have they learned some of the things that were modeled in the show? Do they use said modeled traits in their daily lives? These would be done through surveys, behavioral analysis, etc. Our study was limited in the small episode sample and the subjectivity in rating. So depending on an individual's backgrounds and maybe even extraneous factors like the setting that they were in when watching, there may have been impacts on how they perceived every episode. Also, myself as a rater, I understand that I could be biased knowing the sort of results that I might be interested in. So that again may have skewed the data. But every individual perceives every episode differently because it's naturally subjective. It's really hard to get objective, concrete evidence for, or not evidence, concrete examples for every episode. And we're also all doing this remotely. We haven't seen each other face to face. There's no discussions, which does ensure that the ratings are completely independent, but also may leave room for a lack of clarity in some sections. So, also noting that there were only 4 episodes, these certainly do not represent the full breadth of the show. These episodes were selected based on their portrayal of especially parental mental health. So demonstrating moments where, for example, a mother is going through some internal conflict. This does not represent all of the episodes in Bluey. Although most episodes do tend to have a moral, there are very few episodes that might be filler, as well as episodes that may focus more on child mental health, as opposed to the ones that were selected here, which focus a lot more on parental mental health. So again, they don't really show what the full show may look like. Again, future research could even do a larger scale version of this where there are more raters looking at more categories, so a larger rubric, and also exploring a greater extent of the show. Next steps include coding full seasons, expanding categories to include child emotion complexity, and eventually comparing across media or viewer outcomes. So again, just looking at parent-child interactions and with this show and outcomes based on that. In summation, this study shows that preschool media can reflect broader themes in meaningful ways when it comes to mental health. And with deeper coding and broader examples, we may begin to understand how media might support said emotional development. We would like to extend our sincerest gratitude once again to the Art MEDified team, the fellow coders, and anyone watching today. Thank you so much for your time. I understand that time is precious, and I really appreciate that you took out the time today to listen to me talk about this. Here are the sources I used. Thank you once again so much.